on City, we are proud to be the home of Rogers Hometown Hockey, an NHL game broadcast hosted live from a different community in Canada. And Ron Maclean of Hockey Night in Canada will host the Sunday night show. He joins us live from Toronto to unveil the locations of the tour. Good morning, Ron.
Morning, Jill.
We're so happy to be talking about this finally. And how excited are you for hometown hockey?
Really excited. Obviously, we'll be in Red Deer, my hometown, on November the 2nd. You'll probably show the 3 Alberta locations, Fort McMurray later on in November, and then into Lethbridge later on in the season. But, you know, you just spoke, Jill, of the weather as Tara Sloan gets ready to try and make her way to Toronto for the Rogers seminar. Tara's going to be one of my co-hosts and will be a huge part of all the Western broadcasts. They're really a 2-day festival. So as an example, we'll roll into Red Deer on the Sunday. We'll actually be on the ground on Saturday with skills competitions, music festivals. Tara will host, probably do a hit into Hockey Night in Canada to promote the day ahead, which will be a Flames Montreal Canadiens NHL game and the 3.5-hour Rogers hometown hockey. So it's going to be, sorry to take over this interview, but Tara and I are going out tonight to TIFF because she'll be in Toronto. You know, she's a great musician. Yeah. We're going to see the premiere of the Red Army documentary movie that's being shown for the first time tonight here in Toronto. And then afterward, the Arkells, a Hamilton legend band, are playing. So I knew she'd love to go see that band play. Anyway, the Red Army, when they first released players to the NHL, it was 1989, and the very first team to get them was Calgary. Wow. And coincidentally, Don Cherry and I were in Calgary, and it was after about a foot of snow. The next day was plus 20, and it was a Chinook. So I said to Don Cherry on Hockey Night in Canada, what do you think of the Chinooks? And he said, well, that Sergei Makarov's not bad, but there's no way Sergei Pryakin should be in the NHL. Let's face it. He didn't understand. No, nope. But I remember that. Different
altogether. I know Tara was really excited to hit the ground running and get training up with you guys. Not only that, but also the weather that is just a little bit better than what we're seeing here in our neck of the woods. But that's great. And let's talk a little bit about how wonderful it is to connect with young hockey players all across the country.
That's totally what it's about, Jill. You think of the dream that begins for a girl to make the National Olympic program and then ultimately the Olympics, or in the case of the boys, to get to the National Hockey League. That's really what we'll be out discovering, all these wonderful stories. You know, Sam Bennett's probably the talk of town in Calgary right now, just coming in out of London or Kingston, you know, into the National Hockey League with the Calgary Flames. That's the go-between, the childhood dream and the pinnacle, which is the NHL, and we've got 4 Flames games over the 25 Sunday nights. It'll be a great chance to connect with the heroes and the ones who are hoping to become
Absolutely. Telling those grassroots stories, we're looking forward to seeing. Now, you mentioned Fort Mac, Red Deer. I know you've got early beginnings in broadcasting in Red Deer. What are some of the small communities that maybe you haven't visited that you're looking forward to exploring?
Well, Moncton takes me back to the 1985 Calgary Flames training camp was in Moncton, New Brunswick, and that's where I first met Charlie Bourgeois, who was a member of the Flames, a university standout here in Canada and a real leader. He was the guy that kind of chaperoned Al McInnes in the young stages of Al's career. And so to go back to Moncton, which we will do January the 11th, that's going to be a highlight. Fort McMurray will be a real highlight because I'm going to do a special presentation for a teacher there, Sean Kennedy, the next day, the Monday. So and it's the home of Chris Phillips of the Ottawa Senators, who was always one of my favorite players in the National Hockey League. And the Oil Barons were great opponents of the Red Deer Rebels and the Rustlers before that. Just that ability to go and showcase how the game unites us is really going to be a treat. And even Prince George, I've not been to I've been to Terrace, but Prince George, British Columbia is a bit of a one I'm looking forward to because a kid named Chris Mason out of Red Deer, a goaltender, his dad, Paul, hired me into this business in the first place. So it just will feel so us, right, everywhere we go.
Absolutely. Hockey roots run deep in this country, and particularly all the way down into those small communities that you will be representing. Take care of our Tara Sloan tonight out on the town.
Yeah, you know how that goes. Hi to Joe, her husband, and to Audrey, her daughter, who didn't get any sleep when we stampeded. But anyhow, looking forward to it. Joe.
Heard all about it. Thanks very much, Ron. Ron Maclean, the host, of course, of Rogers Hometown Hockey, which kicks off right here on City on October the 12th.